Greetings everyone, Brad here with Mild-Mannered EDC, and today I wanted to do a quick review of an EDC organizer that I've been using for a little over a year and a half now, and that is the Massdrop Cache Valet Display, or Cache Display Valet, something along those lines. Basically an EDC organizer. And they've got a newer version coming out, or actually that I think that's been out. I don't know that it's still available on the Drop website. You know how those things work. They're up for a couple of, a few days, and then the drop ends, and then production, and then sometimes it comes back if they get enough requests, yada, 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 sort of the whole Massdrop or drop thing. So with that, I just thought we would get underway. Quick caveat, this is not big enough to hold all of my EDC gear.
Never be enough.
So it doesn't hold all my EDC gear. I've got EDC gear in a lot of other places, much to my wife's chagrin most of the time, but this does care. I do put a lot of the stuff that I use in here kind of on a daily basis, or that I know is kind of more frequently in the rotation these days. So that's sort of what I use this primarily for. So kind of keep that in mind or in context as we go through this. So let's go ahead and get this underway. So this particular Valet or organizer, whatever you want to call it, it's pretty substantial. It's pretty well made. It's got this sort of faux black leather kind of exterior and a plexiglass lid or see-through lid. And in fact, when I first got this, I was a little disappointed because I thought it would be glass. But the first time I dropped a knife on it and it didn't break, I was glad that it wasn't glass. So, so that's just, in hindsight, I'm glad that it is what it is. So there you go. So let's go ahead and open this up. So as you can see, it's got sort of designated areas for different types of EDC things. And we'll kind of start in the front and then we'll move our way back. So it's got 3 places for some watches. Again, I put some watches in here. I keep kind of my 2 work watches, and then one watch that I wear quite a bit, my Certina, but I also keep watches in other locations. That's it. I keep up in this front little area. It's kind of a nice little compartment there. I keep some wallets that I, cycle through fairly regularly. And then a couple spots for some pens. And these are just pens that I tend to grab on a regular basis. So there you go. Then it's got this bit of an open area. Here, as you can see, I've got a lot more pens. I've got my, Lynch pry bar. And then it's got this little removable tray that you can slide back and forth to move around. And I keep in there all of my smaller keychain Victorinox, as well as all of my little Night Eyes S-Beaner that I like to use. And I just keep them, I throw them all in there, and it keeps them out of the way and kind of organized. So that's kind of how that looks. Then in the back here, you can see we've got a knife spot for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, technically 7 knives, right? I've doubled up down here because I've got 2 smaller knives in there, but it holds about 7 knives in the sort of display area. That's not a ton, especially if you're, a knife person like me and you're in the hobby. You certainly would want, this doesn't hold all my knives by any stretch of the imagination, but I put some ones up here that I like, or that I carry more frequently, or that I just want to be looking at, or whatever. I definitely seem to have a gray theme going on in this particular arrangement of those that are there. But yeah, so that's sort of the knife, the knife display kind of area. Now, this does lift up, and it is split in 2, so you can kind of open the one side and you get another tray. Now this tray is in there securely, and here I've got some flashlights. I keep most of my EDC flashlights in there. I have some bigger ones, but I keep those in a separate place, and that little peanut lighter that I carry around on my keychain quite a bit. And then you can lift off the other knife component, and there I've got some additional knives that I keep in there as well. So this is basically it. It does have a little hole. I don't know if you can see that kind of right here. And this is designed so that you can run a power cord for like your cell phone or whatever, and you want to charge them up and just leave it in there. I don't use it for that, but you certainly could. My understanding on and this is all sort of felt lined, by the way. So there you go. My understanding on the newer version that they've got coming out, it's got some different things. It's got sort of this, it's got kind of blacked out hardware as opposed to this chrome. It's got a sort of a little lock on it. I mean, it looks a little chintzy to me. It's like one of those locks you put on like those cheap cash boxes that you get, which I always just laugh at those, and I kind of would laugh at it on lists. I mean, if somebody's in your house burgling you, you know, one, that lock could be pried open in 5 seconds, or they would just pick the whole damn thing up and run away. And then they've got it all, just like they could do with a cash box. So whatever. I mean, it you know, I guess it's there, it's gimmicky, but whatever. But those are really the only main changes, is they've kind of smoked the look of the hardware, and they put that little lock on there. The other thing they did do is they're now offering a second level to this, basically. So a drawer that fits the profile of this, that this can sit on top of, and then there's a drawer that kind of comes out like that. I have actually ordered that separately because I thought that was really cool. They managed to also do it so it's compatible with this earlier version, which I think was really great. I'm glad they didn't try to just, you have to buy a whole new thing to make that work, because that would have sucked, frankly. So I was really excited that they decided to do that. And it was much cheaper than having to buy the whole thing all over again. This one I bought, it was about $100. I think the newer one is 120, and then I think the drawer itself was $50 or $40 or $50 if you bought it separately. So there you go. So this is basically what it is. I mean, it's a box. I don't know how much how much time we need to spend on the review, but I just wanted to give you a little glimpse into a product that I've actually been using. I've enjoyed it. Like I said, it doesn't hold everything, but it definitely, you know, has some capacity. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's it. The other thing they did change is instead of having two pieces that come together like this, the newer version just has one solid piece that comes off. And they must have got some feedback on that. I'm neither really here nor there on that. I kind of like that I can just lift this one off, you know, grab a flashlight that I need, and then just pop it right back on. You do, though, if you take them both off, have to put them back a certain way just because of how they line up. But yeah, so I'm sorry. That is another addition that a change that they made in the newer version. But there you go. So this is the Drop, or Massdrop, formerly Massdrop, however they want to market it. Cash Display Valet, I believe is what they call it. I think it's pretty cool. I've used it for a little bit now. I'm enjoying it. You know, like I said, I ordered that drawer, so I'm excited to have a little extra capacity to be able to put some other things. I may take some things out of here to put in that drawer to put to give me some more capacity up here for stuff I use a bit more, or just to be a little more organized. Can't we all afford to be a little more organized? Or at least I certainly can be. So yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much the extent of the review. Not a long one, but I don't think it necessitated being too long. If it's something you're interested in, go over to Massdrop and check it out. I think it's worth checking out. Like I said, I don't think it's available right at the moment, but you can click that request button, and you know, and who knows, if you're watching this down the road or at some point in the future, as opposed to April of 2020, you know, it may actually be available or online as you're watching this video. So anyways, it's a cool item. It's a little pricey. But I think it's well made. It's held up well over the year and a half that I've had it, and it's nice enough that I wanted to get another component for it so it can be even more functional. So there you go. With that, I hope you've enjoyed this review. It's an interesting little item. Let me know if you've got one down in the comments, or what you think of this, or if you use an EDC organizer, or how you organize your stuff. Everybody does it a little differently, I think. That's part of the fun. So with that, stay safe out there. Be mild-mannered to one another, and all the best.